Hey guys, it's been a minute since I've been with you. Just wanted to do a double recap today on what happened to me at the end of the year for the elite season. Then I finished off and really the fishing season with an event on Logan Martin, which was my home lake. I wanted to get out there and really shine, and unfortunately some things fell apart for me. But let's talk about the St. Lawrence River. You know, unbelievable fishery. The smallmouth up there, the action was incredible. I was catching them tubing, drop shotting, anywhere from 25 to 35, 40 foot of water. It was real interesting how to break that lake down. You know, it has a ton of current on it. I spent some time out on one of the big lakes and just drop shotting when I got to the St. Lawrence River. It was totally different with that current, sets those fish up. Very interesting, but let me show you a little bit about what I was doing. Drop shotting, number one thing out there. I was using a 7-foot FX Custom rod Gen 2 series spinning rod with a KastKing Sharky 3, and I was just using a 3/8 drop shot weight and just fishing a fluke out in the deep water. And what I do is that river is interesting. You got to position your boat into the current. And it's what they call a controlled drift. So you're letting the current wash you backwards as you're keeping a tight line and drifting backwards, keeping the boat in position, drifting over those targets that you marked when you're out there scanning. So it's real interesting once you come by a big boulder that hit, and then the fight was on. It was super fun. The second thing I was using was a tube, which they love it. I was actually using a smoked purple with black flake tube, and how I was fishing that was I was actually vertical fishing for them. So while I was drifting, I would keep the tube right up under the boat, and I'd see those big boulders come up on my graph, and then I could see those fish come up and grab it. You know, the bad thing about the tube is, though, it's got a heavy weight where the line tie is, and when those smallmouth come up and shake it, they can throw it off a little bit easier. I found that out to be detrimental to me in that tournament, as I jumped off over 20 pounds on day one. So, you know, they like it. It's just keeping them buttoned up that was tough. So, you know, again, this was another FX Custom rod spinning setup with the KastKing Sharky 3. Super great drag on the reel. Fantastic action on the rod. Anytime I got a good hook in those fish, I never had to worry about my drag pulsating and creating a problem where I'd lose those fish. You know, I was using 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, and you know, when you hook a 5-6 pounder on there, you know, you have to really take care of that fish and make sure you get it in without horsing it. And I did pretty good with it. So, you know, unfortunately that wrapped up my elite season, and you know, the only thing I can do now is get ready for next year. But I did enter the Logan Martin event, which was a Central Open, and you know, I had 35 years experience on that lake, and during practice I caught some big sacks. I mean, I was catching 17, 18 pounds and really thought I could blow it wide open. Unfortunately, day one I didn't get a big bite. Day two, you know, I had that monkey on my back again. You know, I lost a 5-pounder at about 10 o'clock that killed me, and then about 5 minutes before we came in, I lost another one over 4, you know, and it would have put me at 15, 16 pounds and had me fishing the final day. But guys, it's called fishing, not catching. So sometimes you just got to eat that humble pie and move on, you know, and keep grinding it out. The techniques I used at Logan Martin, you know, there was some fish moving in shallow. So obviously I'm a big swim jig fisherman. I love throwing that early in the morning and late in the day. Sometimes some of those big ones will get out there. And then I did that in a combination with square bill fishing. So, you know, FX Custom rod has a 6/8 swim jig rod that I am absolutely in love with. You know, a lot of people think 6/8, that's too small. Well, it's really not. You know, it has enough backbone, and it's small enough where you can really control your cast and you don't get fatigued when you're fishing it. I had that paired with some fluorocarbon line and a dirty jig, no jack swim jig, and a dirty 420 color. You know, interesting, when I was out on the lake, I looked in my live well and I saw one of the fish had spit up a crawfish that was black and red. So what I tried to do was match that hatch, you know, and I got this dirty 420 jig that's darker colored and has some red flake in it. And that really helped me get dialed in on them biting. Obviously, the reel I used was a KastKing reel. It's the new Royal Legend Elite in the 7.3-to-1. You know, unbelievably smooth reel. The drag was awesome. I haven't been more pleased with the reel lineup that KastKing has released, and that's what I've been throwing. I mean, they're fantastic. For my square bill rod, it was a 7.1 medium FX Custom rod, and you know, I had that with some 12-pound fluorocarbon line, just with a little square bill. I mean, it was like a little 1.0 throwing out there, bait blowing up all over the river. So I wanted to match the hatch there, and the shad was, most of it was smaller. So that's what I threw. And again, KastKing Royal Legend Elite in the 5.3-to-1 series. I mean, you know, this white reel is set up for cranking. The black one is a little bit faster. Again, they're color coding the reel so you know what you have, and you set it up for specific techniques, and that's what I did. So unbelievable combination, guys. You know, I'm gonna be out there fishing this year through the fall and the winter, getting ready for the 2019 Elite season. We're going down to a big fish factory on the St. Johns River. I can't wait to get down there. I think it's gonna set up for my style of fishing, that flipping and swim jig fishing. I love doing that. In the meantime, you guys keep up with me at Bill Wadler Fishing on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll be doing some YouTube videos, try to get some on the water shots. So you guys just keep in touch with me, and we'll see what 2019 season doesn't bring us. Thank you.